I will be your host for this afternoon's program. We said we would start at 4 p.m. It was just 4 p.m. and we're getting started. Now, the intent is to very much finish by 5:50 because we understand that at least members of the press have to go back and do more work after the session, so we don't want to hold you back too long. Now, we are gathered here today to announce the launch of an international cinematic project, the Tagore Trilogy. As the name suggests, the project involves 3 films based on Rabindranath Tagore's works, and it is really heartening to see how many members of the media have responded to our invite. Some of whom are still making it here, I know, but many people have really sent me some words of fantastic encouragement. So quite obviously, it's for Tagore and Tagore's messages which are still extremely relevant in today's day and time. And of course, it's also heartening to see how many others who are not necessarily with the media, but who are certainly either fans of Tagore or have been following Tagore in their different fields of work, have shown up, and some of them are also on their way. But in order to respect everybody's time, I did not want to waste time, I just wanted to start right away. Now, let me first share the plan for the rest of the afternoon. You will first, after this introduction of mine, you will see a brief audio visual which will set the tone for the program and for what we are about to embark upon. And then I would invite Orital Day, the director of the trilogy, to come on stage and share more details about the project. This will be followed by a panel discussion and a question and answer session with the panel. We will wrap up by 5:15, as I said, and we would like all of you to stay back and head over for some light refreshments. We of course have a press kit ready for the media, and we would certainly like to hand it over to you at that stage. Now, I must say that in the last week or so that I was really frantically trying to get a word out on this project, I was humbled by the generous responses from people who are hugely accomplished in their own fields and who've done work at very many levels and who were encouraged and sent us some warm words of support to say, yes, this is something that should happen. Now, quite obviously, I'm not able to know these people because I probably don't even have the list of all of them who are turning up. But I do have the names of a few people, and I think it's only appropriate as we start to just mention some of the luminaries who are here with us today. So I will just read out a few names, and I'm sure many of you who are in these circles will absolutely recognize one another. So I can see right at the back is Mr. Raju Mansukhani, who's a researcher writer. Thank you, Raju, for turning up. Who's a researcher writer on history and heritage issues. He's a media consultant and author who's contributing regularly onto columns, book reviews, etc. And who's also a documentary filmmaker of a lot of repute. So thank you so much for turning up. We also have Mr. Utpal Borpujari, who I have just met. Lovely seeing you, sir. Mr. Borpujari is also a journalist and a senior filmmaker, and interestingly, a National Award winner and a film critic. So he's a double National Film Award winner, in fact. One as a film critic and the other as a filmmaker. And in 2003, he won the Swarna Kamal as the best film critic at the 50th National Film Awards in India. I certainly can go on at great lengths about each of these people, but I've been told that, look, some of them don't want that much to be said. So in order for parity, I will try and keep it brief. I don't know whether Mr. Somnath Sen has arrived yet, but we are expecting him. He's also a filmmaker and an educator based out of Delhi. He graduated from the USC School of Cinematic Arts and has written and directed 4 feature-length films and multiple short narrative films. He has also worked in television in Hollywood and in India, and is currently faculty with the O.P. Jindal University. One of the things that I should mention on this occasion is that he has the distinction of actually directing 26 episodes of Bora, Tagore's famous work, Bora on Doordarshan National. So a very eminent person as well. I don't know whether we've got Mr. Abhijit Ghosh yet, but he's probably going to be he's also probably making it. He's been a prominent figure in journalism, and for over 20 years he's done a coverage on a wide number of topics, several of which we have seen him on. Now, his Insightful articles often explore the intersection of culture and society in the context also of Indian cinema. And he's an associate editor with the Times of India and confesses to being an addict of films, music, sports, etc. So more about him when we meet him.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Let me start again. My name is Arindam Dey. I am a filmmaker from Bengal. I have made 6 full-length feature films over the years, and after 2018, I stopped making films because I was not getting good subjects or inspirations to make films. Now after a long interval, I am trying to make something much bigger, which I have done so far. 3 English films and 3 interpretations of Rabindranath Tagore's 3 musical masterpieces, Shapochon, Shyama and Mayakant. And the recurrent motif of the 3 films is migration. Now you must be thinking, what exactly is the Tagore Trilogy? I know the nomenclature betrays very little definition and a whole lot of self-importance. But I can assure you that our approach to this entire project comes from a place of humility and devotion. Humility and devotion not just to Tagore, but to his philosophy of universalism. Tagore is such a creator whose connectivity is, we all know, whose connectivity is beyond everything. For us, Tagore's philosophy was universal but never universalizing. Our distinction, we feel, is extremely important in today's world of surveillance and borders. This is one of the reasons why we choose migration as a core theme for our project. Migration is a universal experience, yet its specifications cannot be ignored. It is omnipresent yet geographically bounded, transcendent yet fixed. Like migration, Tagore's dance dramas are also made up of contradictions. They are both imaginary and authentic, blurring the boundaries between mythic and real time. The Tagore Trilogy attempts to reimagine and reinterpret three of Tagore's dance dramas, which I told previously, Shapmoshon, Shama, and Mayar Khala, renamed as Soul Bound, Soul Lost, and Soul Found, through the perspective of migration. For our first film, Soul Bound, adapted from Shapmoshon, we are focusing on the Indian immigrant experience in the United Kingdom. Like the original story, if you remember, there was a curse. That's why the main characters, they again reborn in earth. There was a curse by Indra. So here migration is coming as a curse. Migration, migration plays the role of relocation. So, adapted from Shapmoshon, we are focusing on the Indian immigrant experience in the United Kingdom. This film is based on not just love, but the experience of it and how migration alters that experience in different ways. Besides being a filmic interpretation, Soulbound is also a musical and visual reimagining of Shapmoshon, with an original score from Vikram Ghosh and artistic interpretations or visualizations from Hiron Mitra. This ensemble will question and attempt to answer what it means to be Eastern, Western, and everything in between. Lastly, I would like to end by thanking Dr. Monojit Singh. He is my friend and co-producer and an integral part of the film, or the project, not only the film. And without him, the project was not really possible, never. So, thank you everyone, and that's it. I think I've told my my perception of.
Next, I'd like to call upon Mr. Shantanu Bose, who is an Indian theatre director and drama teacher. He has worked extensively on multicultural issues in collaboration with many others. He is currently the Dean of Academic Affairs and Associate Professor World Drama of National School of Drama, New Delhi. A teacher of art direction and world drama, an actor and a researcher, Shantanu has been visiting faculty at several universities. He has also created over 60 theatre pieces in India, England, Australia, Germany, France, and Belgium. In 2000, he founded Morira Theatre Group in Kolkata. The German-Indian theatre collaborations with the Gita Institute, Kolkata, have been an important part in the work done by his group. And he has many notable works. So with not much further, may I welcome Shantanu Bose onto the stage. I'd also like to call upon Dr. Anubha Mukherjee Sen, Associate Professor, who is an MPhil in Women and Women in the novels of Henry James. As an academic, her areas of expertise are film studies and gender studies, and she uses that as a pedagogical tool to teach texts by Tagore in English translations.
You want to reinterpret Tagore, you should stop treating him as a cultural monument, and you should stop reacting to him as a living contemporary. Only then new interpretations, etc., will be possible. And then, secondly, my personal experience, a few years back, I was invited to speak on the occasion of Tagore's Janmadin birthday to Kishe Boishak in a function in Chittagong Park. So when I went and on the dais, I looked at the audience, I felt very sad, because the audience comprised of more than 60 years age people, only senior citizens. So I asked the organizers, whom do I talk to? These senior citizens know their Tagore better than me. So where are the younger audience whom I could connect and whom I could say something? So situation is like this. Rabindranath Tagore, despite our particularly our generation, now there is a lot of names of Gen Z, Gen Beta, Gen. Now I'm told that Gen Beta is replaced Gen Z or Gen Alpha. But then I'm talking of a generation who grew up on Tagore, or Tagore grew on us. Tagore's writings, his poetry grew on us. When we read Kabuliwala as a young student, we had one kind of meaning. But now when you read Kabuliwala, you find the question of migration there also. There is a migration, there is an alienation from his own land, and there is a great desire for universal human connect. That is why he was trying to check up meaning, and meaning was also discovering a new connect here. So this kind of migration is always there, alienation is always there, longing is always there, desire is always there, reimagining another world where human connection will be supreme is there. So perhaps this is one way of looking at it.
One more thing.
I'm an academic and I have been in the classroom for the last 35 years. And I think transformative experiences happen in the classroom when you teach Tagore. Tagore is not always prescribed in the syllabus, but it's always fun to get to go back in if you're teaching W.B. Yeats and you say, Gitanjali went to the world thanks to W.B. Yeats and he introduced Tagore to the world. The younger students in 2026, bringing Tagore to them has to be, it becomes relevant because they have somehow retreated from the real spaces. They have retreated into their virtual and digital world, and that is where you get your Tagore in and make Tagore cool through Tagore's songs, through poetry recitations. And these students are now, uploading original content when you push them to read a little bit of Tagore, and because they want to be seen in their reels, in their little audio podcasts, and they find it fascinating. Okay, this is Robin Tag. To use this cool term, Robin Tag makes a lot of sense. Tagore will continue to be relevant. They are still reciting where the mind is without fear and the head is held high. So I'm a teacher, I've been in the classroom, so I know Tagore is relevant and needs to be talked about all the time.
I will possibly look at the question from another position that not to see that whether Tagore is relevant for us, but I would rather say that Tagore is more a documentary and archivist of the modernity and the general world that we are still living in. So basically we have to find, it's really a wide, multiple perspective, and which is coming from many travels and understandings of Tagore. So I see Tagore as a compendium and we as our own personal living as a small fragments in it. So finding our relevance in the contemporary society, we need to go back to Tagore again and again and see what Tagore has already written or thought about my crisis or our crisis at the time. So, for example, when I read Shobhata Shankar, I find that Tagore has raised the issues much before of today's world and looked at it and given a certain path to go. And the question is that whether we have been able to follow those paths, those guidelines, and how we can correct or we can look at our world from a fresh view, from the perspective of Tagore.
Robin Jack, fantastic. The new name. Actually, Tagore is and always been a very personal experience, personal space for me, like all other neighbors. So when I started thinking of making these films, actually it all started with my daughter, because she's 21 years old. She also studies literature. So I asked her one day that, what do you like? Do you like literature? She said, no, it's not connecting. So then we started discussing with all our friends, and who are actually want to do something or who loves Rabindranath basically. So after that, I proposed her to think of something which is basically I proposed her to think of something which can touch the contemporary issues and the generation. And she told me that migration could be one thing. So to be very honest, the germ came from a very young Gen Z person. Then we started developing it, and now we are on the verge of making 3 films.
वो कब तक देखने को मिलेगी?
सो दी फिल्म्स ये जो तीन मूवियाँ बन रही है ये टैगोर ट्रिलॉजी के नाम से बैनर से अंदर हो रहे हैं और ये 3 मूवीज़ इंग्लिश में होगी। पहली मूवी 1 साल में बन जाएगी और द सेकंड विल बी इन द सेकंड ईयर और थर्ड ईयर। यही हमारे प्रोजेक्ट के प्लान है अभी। मूवीज़ यूके में शूट होगी और हमारी उम्मीद है कि हम माइग्रेशन के थीम को मॉडर्न आज के जनरेशन जो समस्याओं से जूझ रहे उन समस्याओं के ऊपर हम नज़र डाल पाए और वी आर एबल टू मेक वेरी कंटेम्प्रेरी मूवीज़ जिसमें आपको पता ही है कि पंडित विक्रम घोष जैसे हस्ती हमारे म्यूज़िक डायरेक्टर हैं। सो बहुत इंटरनेशनल वर्ल्ड म्यूज़िक हमको मिल पाएगा इसमें।
तो आप ये शूटिंग कहाँ करेंगे आप?
शूटिंग इंडिया में थोड़ी बहुत होगी लेकिन लार्जली यूके में 80% यूके में होने के प्लान है।
क्या इसमें प्रोसेस क्या है? मूवी क्या दिखाएगा, क्या शो करेंगे?
मूवी दिखाएगा कि लोग बिछड़ जाने के बाद भी कैसे वापस मिलते हैं और उसमें सारे ह्यूमन इमोशंस जो हम सभी लोग एक्सपीरियंस करते हैं उसी ह्यूमन इमोशंस को लेके ही फिर दर्शाया जाएगा बट इन अ वेरी मॉडर्न कंटेम्प्रेरी वे थ्रू मॉडर्न स्टोरीज।
कुछ रविंद्रनाथ टैगोर पे भी कुछ आपका इसमें कुछ दिखाएंगे आप? कुछ उन पे भी कुछ दिखाएंगे? रविंद्रनाथ टैगोर पे भी कुछ दिखाएंगे?
रविंद्रनाथ टैगोर को खुद नहीं दिखाएंगे क्योंकि ये उनके कहानियों से इंस्पायर्ड है ना कि उनके ऊपर है।
थैंक यू सो मच।
न्यू ऑडियंस के लिए के बनी है, मतलब ये न्यू ओल्ड सब ऑडियंस के लिए बनी है बट इसमें ये फिल्म मेकिंग प्रोसेस में ये फिल्म का जो थॉट प्रोसेस है उसमें न्यू जनरेशन का एक्टिव रोल है। दिस इज व्हाट इज मेकिंग डिफरेंस उधर ही डिफरेंस हो जाता है क्योंकि हमको जो यूनिट अभी तक है छोटा जो यूनिट है बेसिक द फर्स्ट यूनिट उसका एज का रेंज है 21 से 82। So Hiran Mitra, the artist, he is 82, but he is interacting with a 21-year-old person as a friend. So यही है the span and the beyond the breaking of boundaries.
इस मूवी आपका क्या शो है?
देखिए कलाकार तो एक है विक्रम घोष। He is a very reputed international तबला प्लेयर and उसका बहुत ज़रा एल्बम भी है इंटरनेशनल एल्बम्स। ही इज़ ऑल्सो वर्क फॉर डिफरेंट ग्रैमी एल्बम्स। वो जॉर्ज हैरिसन के साथ भी काम किए थे, वो रविशंकर जी के साथ काम किए थे और अनुष्का शंकर एंड ऑल द ग्रेटेस्ट म्यूजिशियंस ऑफ आवर टाइम इन द वर्ल्ड म्यूजिशियंस ही हैज़ वर्क विद देम।
बंगाली बंगाली है?
बंगाली गाय है
बंगाली
गाय है लेकिन ही इज़ अ पर्सन राइट नाउ। अभी वो जर्मनी का एक फिलहार्मोनिक ऑर्केस्ट्रा के साथ रविंद्र संगीत लेके काम कर रहा है।
अब आपके साथ काम कर रहे हैं?
हाँ, आपके साथ काम कर रहे हैं।
तो इस मूवी में क्या दर्शाया गया है, मतलब क्या दिखाया गया है टैगोर मूवी में, टैगोर टेक्नोलॉजी के बारे में?
टैगोर इसमें अच्छा आपको
बोलिए बोलिए इस मूवी में क्या?
देखिए टैगोर का कुछ तो ऐसा नहीं दिखाएगा इसमें। जो होगा टैगोर का जो आइडियोलॉजी, टैगोर का जो स्टोरी था, टैगोर का ऑल द टैगोर स्टोरीज आर वेरी मॉडर्न प्रोवाइडेड आप उसको मॉडर्न तरह से मॉडर्न इंटरप्रिटेशन कर सके तो, नहीं तो उसको तो बिकॉज दिस वर सेट इन ओल्ड टाइम लाइक 1930 1940 ऐसे टाइम में क्योंकि बट इसका जो स्पैन है एक्सपेंस है ना, एक्सपेंशन जो है रविंद्रनाथ टैगोर का जो पॉसिबिलिटी है उसमें वो यू कैन दैट ट्रांसेंडेंस द टाइम एंड एज एंड बाउंड्रीज। इसीलिए तो ये बाउंड्री तोड़ देते हैं। रविंद्रनाथ का इसका जो फिलोसॉफिकल वर्ल्ड है उसमें कोई बाउंड्री नहीं था, कभी नहीं था, तब उस टाइम पे भी नहीं था। तो दिस इज आवर ट्रिब्यूट टू रविंद्रनाथ टैगोर्स आइडियोलॉजी एंड ऑल्सो एन एफर्ट सो दैट जो बटन है आइडियोलॉजी का वो नया न्यू जनरेशन के साथ बस
इसका शूटिंग कहाँ होगा शूटिंग?
शूटिंग नवंबर से स्टार्ट होगा।
कहाँ पर? इंडिया में होगा, इंडिया से बाहर होगा?
यूके में 80%, इंडिया में 20%।
तो अभी तो प्रिपरेशन चालू, अभी नवंबर
अगस्त से हम लोग के यूके में प्री प्रोडक्शन चल रहा है।
थैंक यू सो मच।
थैंक यू।